What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. This week's been pretty good. I have to learn new. You can hear all my car sounds. This week has been different since I started something else, essentially. I first did trimming, and then I was told that I was switching to sealing the slide outs. So yeah, it's been a learning curve, but it's been progressively getting better, thankfully. I was worried that I was gonna end up sucking at it, and then, you know, I was gonna get fired or whatever. I mean, not that that was necessarily sad, but, you know, I was like, okay, well, obviously if I can't get it right, or I'm not, you know, I can't change with the times, I'm obviously gonna get fired. But that's not the case, because, you know, I'm still here, so at least not so far. So yeah, I'm happy about it. Yeah, Wednesday. Wow. You know, it's been really weird when, you know, you're so busy that everything slowly starts to feel like, you know, it's not, I don't know, I feel like I fall into this mindset, into this groove, really, where I'm like, okay, yeah, here comes Friday, and then I'm like, okay, you know, I already know, like, whoo, oh boy, this car, I don't know how it happens, but this thing has some kind of suspension where it just kind of goes up and down. It doesn't really, well, obviously all suspension goes up and down, but it's got a weird suspension where it doesn't, it's always really smooth. It's a Grand Marquis, but for some reason, sometimes when I'm like turning and I'm also going off bumps, it just shifts. Like, it'll shift like to one side. It is weird, but it's a fun car, but it can be a little scary sometimes. And yeah, it's just that charm of that car, you know. But anyways, I fall into this groove where I'm like, oh yeah, here comes Saturday, here comes the weekend. Like, I know what's gonna happen, you know, or like, you know, okay, here's this part of my story where, you know, it's the weekend, I can stay up or whatever. But I can already been to the motion of it so much that I kind of know that vibe, you know. I don't know. It's like I've done it for so long that I just know that it's all repetition. And it is repetition when you have a job, obviously, you know, but it just, you don't know until you get that vibe and you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Or, you know, like, okay, yeah, it's coming up, but, you know, I don't know. Maybe I lived long enough that I understand that I'm like, okay, well, here's this part, and then here's this part for this time, you know, like, here's the work part, here's the fun part, here's where I gotta do this, you know. So I don't know, but that is a way I perceive through time, not necessarily enjoyment. It's not, I'm not saying I'm like getting mundane to, you know, I'm growing, I don't know the right word, but I'm, you know, I'm not growing tired of anything. I'm just, it's how I'm perceiving time and, you know, all those kind of things. And I'm just like, okay, you know, it's like you start to see like the gears working a little bit from behind, you know. So yeah, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. You just live in the now, I guess, right? It's hard to live in the now when you think about this stuff, but when you can, it's nice, because it's like things, you just forget about things. You think about life, you know, it's like, this is the problem, this is your main problem, this is your only problem or issue, or, you know, not problem, but this is your current and, you know, fully focused idea that you're dealing with. So, and you get in the flow, you do whatever you're doing, really, you know, that doesn't have to be a problem, just something you're doing, but it takes you away a little bit from the heaviness that this world bears. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, existentialism, thinking about, you know, hey, I'm just this one little thing in this huge world, in this huge galaxy, and it's a bit, you know, mind-boggling. But at least that's how it is for me. I always feel like when I have time to think about my own thoughts, I'm like, wow, like, you know, I'm just a conscious being, part of a a stream of other thoughts collectively, and we're on this together. But it's like we're just in a small planet compared to this whole world, you know, or galaxy, I should say. And it's just insane to me that how small we are in the grand scheme of things. But just because it's small doesn't mean anything. There was no correlation to that. It's just I wanted to point that out. That, you know, just regardless of how small you may think, it all means something. I mean, it all means something for someone eventually. If it matters to you, you're gonna make it matter, right? That's how life is. Regardless of how small it is, just like how YouTube is for me right now. It's a small thing for me, or, you know, no one would care. If I told you I was a YouTuber, you might say, that's really cool. You see all my videos, you're like, oh, okay. But, you know, for me, it is something that matters to me, and I do it because I want to. And because I put this time into it, this time and thought process, it matters to me that much. And it's a positive thought process too, so it's, you know, it's progressive, not, you know, degenerative, where if I'm like thinking about my insecurities that I can't change, you know, it just doesn't help. Which leads me to the next idea that popped into my head. It's like, you know, things that you can't change, you should stress about. Like, you know, it happens. It's happened to me where I've stressed about things that I can't change. Like, I just can't. I know I can't. So there's no point to stress about it. There's things that happen that are factual, that just happen, and it's that, you know, or it just has to happen. I have to pause myself because I just realized yesterday I was watching my video and I keep saying, you know, a lot. So I'm starting to realize again right now that I keep saying, you know. So I'm gonna stop myself from saying that and just pause it. You know, even if it is a little awkward, just to pause it. That way I can stop me saying, you know, because it just seems like a click. What was I saying? Yeah, there are things that you can't change, and that's okay. You just can't change them, so there's nothing else you can do but accept that fact. And it's, you know, whatever you have to go through to deal with it, do it, right? I think you can learn a lot by yourself when you're in this nihilistic state where you feel like things aren't right, but they can never be in its right course again. It's like just to live through it. I think being put in a situation where you feel like you want to change things but you can't, it makes you really reflect. If you really think about it, and if you really push yourself to really think why you don't like that, you can really find a solution to yourself. And I'm talking about problems that, you know, oh, there's it. I'm talking about problems that, how would I, like this, you know, there's it. Like, perhaps your bodily figure, things that are just genetically made that way, like perhaps your facial structures, all that kind of stuff. So you can change your weight, given that you don't have any medical disabilities that stop you from doing that, right? Or anything like that could put you in harm if you try to, you know, excessively work out, cut back on food, whatever it would be. But anyways, things that you absolutely can't change, like perhaps people's height, right? Guys, maybe insecure about their heights. Women, perhaps their face. I mean, I guess it's surgery too. I mean, in the modern age, if you really want to, you can get surgery for whatever you want. Honestly, I've seen things about guys getting surgery, extending their height for 3 inches, but having debilitating legs that, you know, that given like 5 or 10 years you can't barely walk, but you're tall for a little bit. Whoa. So I guess it's more of a question of how far you're willing to curb that insecurity to figure it out, because I mean, all those kind of problems have money related situations, right? Or like they're all can be fixed with money. So I guess if you really want to, you can go about doing that by saving money, or spending a lot of money, taking out a lot of money for this insecurity. And I suppose if you're driven to that point, you either are mentally, how would I word this correctly, carefully? You're either mentally not good, or you're absolutely for sure that this is gonna help you fix your insecurity. But I think the problem that stems from that, I fear, is that once you get there, it's like, okay, well, what else can I do? It's like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And anything below that, anything that would affect that in any way, shape, or form, would still come back. It's like, I think if you hate, the certain part about you that you can't change, you gotta reflect why is that the problem, right? And it's like, okay, well, those people think I'm ugly, and it's like, who has told you you're ugly? It's like, okay, some people reject me because of this, and it's like, okay, well, are there other guys that are, on dates, or other girls that have this problem? And do you talk to them? Maybe look online. There's a lot of resources out there that can help you cope with this kind of stuff. So I don't think the final solution, and the absolute last solution to me, would be some kind of life-altering surgery that would, help you. But like I said, even if you fix the problem, you can still come back even stronger. Because no matter what, there's always going to be somebody stronger, somebody more financially better off, somebody more attractive, somebody younger, somebody more flexible, whatever it would be. It's like there's going to be somebody better than you no matter what, because time goes on and somebody gets better. Somebody has the same mindset as you did, but they're just younger than you. They had a head start. They had somebody to help them out. They had somebody that already was in the business. Whatever it would be. It's like you could fix it, but if you're not fixing the root of the problem, you're fixing at the solution or the cause. You're gonna have this problem still come back to you no matter what. So it first has to start with the mind. And I guess, like I said, if it is absolutely necessary that you have to have this life-altering surgery or lifestyle change, whatever it would be, it's got to stem from a place of acceptance. Because if you don't have that acceptance from the beginning, you're going to end up in a situation where, like I mentioned before, no matter how much you fix it, you still want to go further and further. I think I see this, and I think you might agree with me. I think you see this when you see people that go into that deep surgery vibe zone, and then they have this look of like, they end up with like a lion face. It's like when they're already getting older, but that surgery isn't holding up, and so they look like a lion because they got the big lips and they got like the jaw going on, and but and I'm not dissing surgery whatsoever, a cosmetic surgery, aesthetic surgery for personal acceptance. I'm not blaming that whatsoever, because if you feel that way, you feel like you're affirming yourself, like gender affirming, and that's perfectly fine. Do that. But I think the gray area, like I said, is where where are you coming from with this? Because if this is going to help you out, good. But if it's a thing where it just adds on to worsen your mentality, in that it's like it's not going to help you out. But I'm all for surgery. I'm all for anything that helps you feel better, as long as you're open about it as well. Because I think people will say that they have this going on, and I think it should even be passed through a government regulation where it's like, if you're promoting it, if there's people that are promoting it, and I'm particularly picking on cosmetic surgery because it's a very easy one to pick on. If in the sense that, hold on before you say anything, in the sense that if there are people out there that are promoting this natural look, this whatever it would be, and then they're not saying anything beyond that, or it's publicized as this is what natural is, this is the ideal look, this is what people look like in this clothing. It's like, no, because you're not promoting realistic standards. Of course, they're gonna have models up there, but I believe it should be a law where if you have any surgery, anything whatsoever, it should be publicly stated on the ad, anywhere within the ads, visual or hearing for the person to make sure they understand that this person had surgery, so if this image is not realistic to what a normal human looks like because that is surgery. So that way people don't develop this perception that if you follow these 10 steps you're gonna get to look like this person. But of course you got also the part that they don't tell you is you got spend $50,000 to get all the surgery as well. And again, I'm gonna repeat this. I am not shaming anybody for getting surgery. I believe it is great. If you want to get surgery, go ahead. If it helps you out, good. I'm all for it. I really am. I really think surgery, even for guys, beard, growing a beard, losing hair loss, hair regain, I should say, stuff like that, great, do it. I just think there's a vanity of it that people can get lost in. It's like, okay, this is the norm. It's like, that's not the norm. The norm should be they should accept yourself for who you are, because you should. And it's easy for me to say because I look normal, I look average. So it's like, I don't have the worst things going on, I don't have the best things going on, whatever. It's just, I'm speaking from a place of privilege, and that is a lot of what I'm going to talk about on YouTube, is that it's all just things that I say that are coming from a privileged place. I talk about these things because I've gone through the whole swing around, the whole loop around them, so I can speak on it in a better place. Of course, you're getting people that are in extremes that don't necessarily feel the same way, because they may feel happy, but the world may not reflect that to them. So again, take what I say with a grain of salt, because I can easily say it's like, accept who you are, who you want to be, because I already have. Like I mentioned a long time ago in my other videos, and I don't expect you to listen to them or watch them at all, but I've said before that you don't really know, for the first time of experiencing, you don't really know that you are depressed unless you get out of that. You're not, you don't really accept what it is until you're out of it. So it's hard for someone to speak on topics that they may not know until they're out of that, and they can reflect on it entirely. They can reflect, this is where it started, this is what happened, this is how I'm coping with it, this is how I'm restructuring my mindset. Only until I think you can gone through it a little bit, from the beginning of it to the end of it, you can say, okay, this is what. And I say depression because I've done some research on that. Not that anything I publicized, not that I've publicized anything, but I'm saying in the sense that I've heard people say it's like, it's hard for you to really feel it until you're out of it. It's like, you don't know you're there yet until you're either in the bottom of it or you're out, coming out of it. But yeah, I mean, it's silly, or not silly, just something else. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go now because I'm getting really sweaty, as you can probably tell. And yeah, have a good one. Be safe. Don't do any drugs.